70 years after the Gettysburg Address, the American experiment again teetered on the brink. The Great Depression cost millions their life savings. 16 million jobs gone. In their place, breadlines and starvation. When one economist asked if there was any historical precedent, he replied, yes. It lasted 400 years and was called the Dark Ages. Paralyzed, the country turned to a man who had spent years struggling to stand.
You have nominated me, and I know it, and I am here to thank you for the honor.
A dozen years earlier, FDR was a rising political star when he was suddenly struck down by polio.
He had always had this confident, buoyant, optimistic temperament, and yet when the polio came, it was tested severely. I mean, to imagine yourself in your late 30s, having loved athletic activity, and you find that you're paralyzed from the waist down. He would spend hours, as he said, just trying to move his one toe a little bit. And then it made him calm and patient in a way that he had not been before. And then once he got to be governor and then got to be president, I think there was a humility that hadn't been there before, and there was a sense of identifying with other people to whom fate had also dealt an unkind hand, because he'd had this incredibly privileged life up until that point. There's no question that it deepened him. It made him a much more interesting person than he would have been before.
As Inauguration Day dawned on March 4th, 1933, the New York Stock Exchange suspended trading indefinitely. Banks closed in 34 states. Millions of people couldn't buy gas, milk, or bread. For the first time since the Civil War, armed troops guarded federal buildings.
America has touched bottom. 16 million out of work, the banks tottering, business stagnant.
This nation is asking for action, and action now.
Friends told FDR, if you succeed, you'll be the greatest president in history. If you fail, you'll be the worst one. FDR sagely replied, if I fail, I'll be the last one.
This great nation will endure as it has endured, will revive and will prosper.
He projected that sense that we're going to get through this. And hundreds of thousands of telegrams came into the White House, saying that somehow it's going to be okay because you're there. And that's that mystical relationship between a leader and the followers, that somehow his optimism and his belief and his confidence in himself, he projected onto the people, and they felt confident in themselves that they would get out of this.
It can bring to the people an attainment of their welfare.
FDR trusted the people, assuming all would be well if he communicated clearly with them.
What FDR did on his radio chats was to really have a conversation with the American people, so that when they listened in their radios, in their living rooms or their kitchens, they felt he was really there talking to them. He would say, my friends, my fellow Americans. They felt he was their friend.
Hitler's mechanized forces are...
You could walk down the street on a hot Chicago night when one of his fireside chats was on the air, and the windows would all be open, and you could hear his voice coming out of every house. You could keep walking down the street and not miss a word of what he was saying.
After all, there is an element in the readjustment of our financial system more important than currency, more important than gold, and that is the confidence of the people themselves. Let us unite in banishing fear. We have provided the machinery to restore our financial system and it is up to you to support and make it work. It is your problem, my friends, your problem no less than it is mine. Together, we cannot fail.